Another Northern Ireland hunger striker is given medical treatment at his parents' request. Lawrence Macchio, the most critically ill of the hunger strikers in the maze, had been refusing food for 70 days. That's longer than anyone else in the recent campaign. And this is the fourth time that relatives of hunger strikers have intervened in the past month. But the H-Block Coordinating Committee, who are holding a conference at Dundalk, said this decision would not affect their campaign. James Robbins reports.
The hunger strike supporters were told by the National H-Block Committee in its report to the conference that the campaign leaders are suffering a feeling of nagging demoralisation. 10 deaths at the maze have not brought the concessions from Mrs Thatcher the prisoners still demand. And now an increasing number of families seem convinced that further deaths are pointless. If the trend continues, the impact of regular orchestrated paramilitary funerals will be lost. Another important development at the conference was the news from the Irish National Liberation Army, much smaller than the IRA, that it will put no more of its prisoners on hunger strike. Owen Carron, the MP who stood in for Manor South Tyrone for the hunger strikers, insists decisions about the strike rest with them, but increasingly the families seem to be in control. To emphasise the insistence that the fasts will continue, the Provisional IRA have announced this evening that another prisoner will be refusing food tomorrow.
In Armagh, an off-duty policeman was shot and critically wounded as he was coming out of church after Mass. 2 gunmen fired through the windscreen of his car, hitting him in the head and chest. The South Africans have admitted that their jets attacked an Angolan military convoy in which foreign journalists were travelling. A spokesman said there would be no apology, the journalists knew the risks and were lucky to be alive. The BBC reporter Mike Wooldridge was slightly hurt in the attack, though 2 Angolans were seriously wounded. Wooldridge was able to go on with the rest of the party to Kahama, a town in the south of the country and part of the Angolan army's front line. Pope Shenouda, leader of Egypt's Christians, has been dismissed by President Sadat in measures to end religious clashes between Muslims and Christians. 10 Islamic societies have also been banned. President Sadat says he'll show no mercy in getting national unity.
It is a purge, and I'm not eliminating the opposition like some of you have said. I have spoke today quite plain and quite open. I hope you had the message.
And the Israeli Prime Minister, Mr. Begin, is on his way to America for his first meeting with President Reagan. The Israelis say they still haven't given up hope of persuading America not to sell advanced reconnaissance planes to Saudi Arabia. In the Iranian capital, Tehran, thousands of people took to the streets for the funerals of the country's 2 latest victims of political violence. The Prosecutor General died in a bomb explosion yesterday, and the police chief died from injuries sustained in the explosion which killed the Prime Minister and President. On the eve of the TUC conference at Blackpool, Mr. Len Murray has revealed that the unions could have lost 1 million members over the last 2 years. He says it's because of the sharp rise in unemployment. It's the biggest drop since the 1930s. Also at Blackpool, Mr. David Basnett's General and Municipal Workers' Union, with the 3rd largest Labour vote, has declared its support for Mr. Dennis Healey as Deputy Leader of the Labour Party. Britain has won its first gold medal in the World Water Ski Championships at Thorpe Park in Surrey. Andy Mappell won the slalom, and another Briton, John Battleday, came second. Battleday was the first British skier on the water, as Mike Hazelwood had failed to qualify. Battleday skied round 31.5 buoys before losing his balance. This gave him a score of 64 and the outright lead. When Mappell began his run, he was the only man who could beat Battleday. An American who was second after the first round had failed. This run gave Mappell, an 18-year-old from Preston in Lancashire, the gold.